important areas. Extremely important areas. हाँ जा. Note करो. First हला हमें one of the major challenges today in the Supreme Court is on the Waqf Amendment Act. Okay. Eita tika hame depth raje kariba because not only it is likely to come in your main papers, those of you who qualify for the main papers will come, but it is likely to also figure in your interview. Interview particularly, so they will get into a little depth also. So, jota tame laguchi je on the face of it tumko laguchi je it's a very easy thing. Ite kon achi sir, ame Musalman oda party kurchanti, sarkar ki kotha kurchi. Into oda general perception hochi. The government is doing correct thing, but the Muslims are unnecessarily cribbing about it. So, jehetu tammane sobo civil servant habo. Remember one thing, because I was a civil servant, so you need to take a very balanced view, extremely balanced view. As a student, you can be pro left or you can be pro right, you can be pro anything. But once you become an officer, you become a civil servant, you have to be very objective. Our objectivity comes out of three things. One is facts, second is logic, and third is law. Please note down. Facts, logic, and law. Facts kaun achi? What is the logic that you have? And what is the legal position? Legal or the constitutional position? Either the legal position or what is the constitutional position? Because however big or small you may be, you are bound by the constitution. Jahan bhi jao, tame je kon chote debate ho, ultimately ho, mu sabubale sambidhan tak dekhe. Though I am a student of economics, most of my articles get published because I take a constitutional view of an economic problem. Are you all getting me? जे धरा कहूची जे बहुत रे लोक गरीब लोक खाया को पाउनाते, malnutrition is rampant. कि आमर जो छोटो पिला माने सब अंगनबाड़ी रे पढुचंती, म आज गतकाली अंगनबाड़ी गुटे हेल देखिया पे ओ से देखि मते बहुत कांद लागला जे मो पुटे जे एठी पाठ पढथंदा से कोन करथंदा. So somebody would say, why are you worried? जे तमे तो धनी लोक तमे काहे व्यस्त होछ से गरीब पिला हला तार भाग्य सेटा. But the constitution doesn't say that. Constitution doesn't say that. It says that it is the duty of the state to provide good early childhood education and care. Article 46. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Article 46. Article 46 se kochi je it's the responsibility of the state to provide what? Early childhood education and care. Tamane kon? Tamane hochi 6 months after the child is breastfed. 6 months pare. 6 ବର୍ଷ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ, from 6 months, not 0, from 6 months to 6 years. It is the responsibility of the state to feed that child, and from the age of 3 to the age of 6, it is the responsibility of the state to provide education. Before the child goes for formal schooling. Are you all getting me? Always keep in mind that there is an Article 46. There is an Article 46.
45.
There is an article which says that it is the responsibility of the state to improve the level of nutrition. Supposing 56% of your women are anemic today, they are having a very low blood count. So it goes against the tenets of the constitution. Are you all getting me? So, facts लॉजिक देखिबो एंड लॉ टा कोन अछि आ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कोन प्रोविजन अछि आर यू गेट मी पॉइंट आउ किछि नै अन्य कहा को माने सीनियर लोगों को पचार दरकार नहीं सर ये फैक्ट ये लॉजिक आ ये होछि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ये होछि लॉ मु ये कली माने never be helpless in a situation which is given to you. Are you all getting me? So अनेक समय when I was in the ministry as a joint secretary, generally कोन हम controversial issue दे हला most of the bureaucrats will not give a viewpoint. So कहै ठीक अछि मंत्री डिसीजन नबो मु काई करबी मु काई लिखिबी. So Dr. Pranab Mukherjee, who was my boss, he was the first to tell me, Jay, don't leave it to the minister. You give your viewpoint. Now, supposing they don't agree with you, it is they have to say why they don't agree with you. Never think that mo upare gote senior achi ki mantri achi seman decision lebe mu kahi ki mundo why should I stick my neck out? Katha buchu to the reason I come to speak to all of you is to share these experiences. Je tome kichi sethi gote helpless mahila ki purusha nuha. You have all the power. You have all the power. You see the facts for yourself. You have the logic for yourself. You see the constitution yourself. तापर तमे डिसीजन नबो माने जति कि सीनियर तुमको डिफर करी के गोटे व्यू पॉइंट दला कि हमको दला कि मंत्री दला इट इज अप टू दैट आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट तेनो जे कोन इशू है एनी इशू दैट वी डिस्कस ओके सो यू मस्ट लुक एट the constitutional underpinning, the constitutional expectation. What article में लिखी थी जे democracy and जो media and constitutional expectation. Many people have liked it. Media कौन constitutional expect करछि? माने हमें जो सो भड़ होउछन सब कौन what is the constitution say? What is the constitution saying? तम देखिले ताले जानिनो जे तमे सो सेही में आज हम एटिके वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल टा गोटे भलो के देखिबा देन आउट डीटा जंक्शन लेख जे टू वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इंडिसेस हैव बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड गोटे हला क्वालिटी ऑफ पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर इंडेक्स QPE दिस हैज बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया हमर जदी अछि किमती जदी ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट इंडेक्स तो अछि कि हमर gender inequality index achi. So Reserve Bank of India has come up with a index called the Quality of Public Expenditure Index, QPE. Sadly, otherwise, tame गोटा जमती यर्कर जमती बुमरा यर्कर भला तमे नहला तम स्टम्प दे कोन क्वालिटी ऑफ एक्सपेंडिचर इंडेक्स कोन QPE हला और फिस्कल हेल्थ इंडेक्स अछि जोटा कि नीति आयोग has evolved it. बुझছো कथा all of you please keep a note এই যেটা একটা নোয়া ইনডেক্স ইচ our fourth thing I want to cover today is the repo rate reduction. ये जो लास्ट टू हेतला माने हमर जो संजय मालहोत्रा जी नोआ RBI गवर्नर हेची he took over in February and from 6.5 in 3 reviews he has brought it down by 1%. But February June भितरे से 1% गोटे रेपो रेट टाकू कमी दीची माने ऑन द अदर हैंड हमर जो शक्तिकांत दास थिले से 18 मास माने लाइक ए स्टबर्न म्यूल से जम्मा ना बढ़ेले ना कमेले 6.5 रे बसी गले. I had criticized him in many editorials. Many people say, "अरे ओडिया टाकू ताऊ काहे क्रिटिसाइज करला?" मतलब ओडिया फुडिया कोन अरे से ठीक कथा करूनी हो. Are you all getting me? So we will today go into repo rate reduction. अरे एमिति कथा नै जे से गोटे नेहति गध लोगटे कि एमिति गोटे कला के छोड़ करते नै. There is some logic, but we have to see in an overall context. माने history will judge you. माने हिस्ट्री विल जज यू इन रेट्रोस्पेक्ट आपण ठीक कले कि भूल कले आउ सेठी जदी तम भूल करचंती तोरा नेहरू भूल करचंती चाइना पॉलिसी रे भूल करचंती से जदियो माने ये मे बी ग्रेट लीडर But in retrospect, I think it was a Himalayan blunder by him. He has completely miscalculated the China factor. Okay, so and then you piece together the facts. Anyway, so have you got? So is that okay with all of you? So now let us go into the so first, before we go into the act itself, let's look at the constitution. Okay. So ame sir kohunti Waqf Amendment bitre konta mane what are the constitutional issues involved? Okay, what does the constitution say? Now the Waqf Amendment Bill is all about the question of rights of minorities. Please note down. It is rights of the minorities. In regard to what? In regard to religious, please note down, in regard to religious and educational institutions. Religious and educational institution. गोटे हला धर्म आ गोटे हला शिक्षा. Are you all getting me? So in our constitution there are 3 articles. जिनते हमें fundamental rights. Please note down. Golden triangle कोचे 14, 19 and 21. Please note down. 14, 19 and 21. तब जे आंसर ता ए भला करिवो ना ताले जे देखिबो जे कहना जानि छि रे टिके एक्स्ट्रा जानि छि कथा. Golden triangle 14 हला right to equality, 19 हला freedom और 20 हला life. Equality, freedom and life. कौन बुझछो कथा? एट हला golden triangle. So for the religious minority, the golden triangle is, please note down, 25, 26 और 29. 25, 26 और 29. Is that clear, bete? Is that clear? तमर आंसर तो दबो ठीक है डिफरेंट वे रे दबो ताले कोन हबो से जे देखियो से तो नाही ओटे डिफरेंट वे रे कोच ना तुम Waqf Amendment Bill was introduced in 2024. The opposition then it went to the parliamentary committee, then they made some suggestion. The matter is now under challenge in the Supreme Court. वो देखिए तो कोई को बाजू करो आंसर को बाजू करो फर्स्ट पे बाजू करो तो जीरो देख रहे आरंभ करो. Are you getting the point? then तमे भी कहबो लिखियो आरंभ करिवो जे before we try to understand the controversies involved, the controversy in the Waqf Amendment Bill is about the rights of minority in regard to that religious freedom. किन थला ओपनिंग टा किन थला जिन तो रोहित शर्मा मारला 6 मारला से भड़ाला ना कोई बुझु ना कथा. So your answer, your opening statement must be different from run of the mill answers. किन तमे open को आंसर टा बुझि पड़छ कथा तो. So let us see the articles. प्रथम हमें जिबा आर्टिकल 25 लेखो आर्टिकल 25 1 को जिबा. प्रथम हमें आर्टिकल 25 1 रे कहूची freedom of conscience, freedom to profess, practice and propagate. Please note down. हम बहुत छोट रे करची. I have made these articles very precise, bullet like. Freedom of conscience, vivek, profess, practice and propagate. Question comes, do I have the freedom to convert? Please note down. Do I have the freedom to convert, religious convert? Mu Christian, mu gobi sa SN Mishra ko Christian kar daba. Do I have the freedom to convert? So the court has said freedom to convert is also a right under 25(1). Please note down, it's very important. The constitution, the court has said it is not there in the constitution. It is not there in the constitution. But the courts believe that the freedom of religion includes your right to convert people to their religion because they have the freedom of conscience. But they also put a caveat, put a proviso ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଯେ जो conversion ଟା cannot be through compulsion, force, please note down, compulsion, force or blandishment. Please note down, compulsion, force or blandishment. Blandishment है ना corruption, पैसा देकरी तो ते मु लक्ष टका देबी 50,000 टका देबी ब्लैंड तो चाकरी देबी blandishment तमे असला तुम Stanley's law Stanley's law versus Union of India लिखो करछु सब को तुम आगे रखो तुम देखिए रखो Stanley's law judgment रखो versus Union of India. Eighth Supreme Court judgment dala the freedom of conscience also includes the freedom to, but freedom to propagate cannot be through coercion and blandishment. Kako lancho dekri sei kathara the collector dekhila if there is a complaint and you are the Tahsildar, you are the SDO and you find that there is evidence, then you can it is an unconstitutional activity, will be put behind bars. Are you getting my point? It has to be voluntary. It has to be voluntary. It has to be voluntary because there is a freedom of conscience. तमे कौन हबो तमे नास्तिक हबो कि हिंदू हबो कि Ambedkar converted to Buddhism. Stanley's law. Stanley's law. STANISLAW. Stanley's law. So Ambedkar became a Buddhist. He changed. You are free not to take the name of religion in an oath. Like for instance, Mr. Antony, who was my defense minister, when he took oath, he didn't take the name of God. He remained silent. I have seen it. He was an atheist. Many people I've seen during oath. George Fernandez, for instance, I've seen he didn't take oath in the name of God. No. So, because that freedom of conscience is there. Say, for instance, I am an atheist. I don't say by the name of God. But that freedom is there. Are you getting my point? So, because I don't believe in God, that doesn't make me an inferior person. It is not an unconstitutional thing. Because freedom of conscience. Okay. So Article 25(1) hala kona? Freedom of conscience, profess, practice and propagate. 25(2) kahila, the state can make any law to regulate or restrict any economic, financial or political activity which may be associated with religious practice. तमे जहाँ रिलीजियस करछो सेटारो it can be regulated. The state feel कला जे तमे जो religious practice टा करूछो it is affecting, and most importantly, please note down, our condition अला public order, morality and health. Please note down, public order, morality and health. तमे depth रे जाओ टिके, go deep into this. Freedom, asana ako. Your freedom of conscience is subject to public order. जे नाय मोर हिंदू सनातन धर्मटा सबुठु भलो ए सला मियां को बजाओ दे बजाओ. You are disturbing public order. You are morality. तमे immoral way कुछ काम करूछो. Health, okay. So please remember, all religious freedom, all your freedom of minorities, please note down, every right of a minority is subject to these three caveats: public order, morality and health. So बहुत लाउड स्पीकर करके सब बारंबार प्रिंसिपल होची. So the collector can say ନାଇଁ ତମେ ଏତେ ପାଠ କରିପାରିବନି, ରାତିରେ ତମେ ଯାଇ ପାରିବନି, ପିଲା ପାଠ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି, କାଲି ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଅଛି, ତମେ ପାଠ କରି ପାରିବନି। They can put restrictions. But you have, so when it is challenged in the court of law, court will say whether real public order was being affected or तमे कहलो नाइ माने कि एटा तमरो गोटे unreasonable restriction. Please note down. Court रो काम होला, please note down. गोटा आइन, गोटा restriction, और third है reasonable restriction. Please note down. गोटा आइन कानून. As government servants, तमु काम होला, तमे restriction पकेबो. नाइ, एते पाठनो कर परिबोनी. तमे फटाका फुटे परिबोनी. Okay, so that is the restriction. It is the role of the court to see whether the restriction is reasonable or not. Please note down. Restriction होची कि नहीं. Are you getting my point? So reasonable restriction पाई सेमानकर कौन डॉक्ट्रिन टार होची? कोटा? नहीं reasonable restriction को concept constitution रे कौन कोट आछि?
Public order, morality, health.
इनसाइड से कौन कहितली सेटा बहुत तुमको मने पड़छि तुमको लास्ट क्लास रे कहितली कोनटा थिला जे तमरो जोटा करूचो जोटा तमे रेस्ट्रिक्शन करूचो वेदर इट इज अ रीजनेबल गोटे प्रोपोर्शनलिटी टेस्ट. प्लीज नोट डाउन. अरे किमित से रीजन करियो से कोन भगवान ना कोन सी गोट सुपीरियर सिटीजन की जन्म हिज ना कोन से कोन प्लेटो ना कोन से आइंस्टाइन से कहबो सब कथा सी कोन करिवो proportionality test. कहि नथि सेना proportional test पढि नथि सब भूली जाउ सब तो नुआ फेस भूली माने पड़छि ना नहीं. हां proportionality test माने that there is a relationship between, please note down, proportionality test माने गोटे हला there is a relationship between your action and the consequence. तमर action और consequence रो गोटे relationship अछि. तमे कहलो डिक्रिमिनेट करिवि. डिक्रिमिनेट रो ऑब्जेक्टिव हला जे ब्लैक मनी सफा करिवि. ऑब्जेक्टिव ता कोन रहला? ब्लैक मनी ले. What is the tool that I have used? Demonetization. So if the court finds that the tool that you have used has helped in controlling black money, it's a reasonable restriction. Have you understood? Our proportional test hela je jetiki haba katha restriction, whether the restriction is excessive or not, the court will say. See, restriction ta besi gala ki dar tome party go to class ote high marla तुमको मोटे जोरे चटकनी माइली से कोटा प्रोपोर्शनलिटी हलानी सर साले मोती इतनी जोरे चटकने माइले मोर दांत भांगला कहितांते नाही काय हाई मरचो काही तो काली सोई नतल के सो आर यू एटिमेट. सो व्हाट आर द टू टेस्ट? गोटे हला रैशनल नेक्सस. प्लीज नो रैशनल नेक्सस आउ थोर केबे कहबिनी. आई विल नॉट रिपीट. व्हाट इज रैशनल नेक्सस between nexus connection NEXUS, rational nexus NEXUS, rational nexus between the object and the consequence. हमको तो बाध्य करछन जे आधार कार्ड तमे देखैबो नहले तुमको बैंक अकाउंट हे परिबोनी. somebody will say मु काहे के आधार कार्ड देखैबी. कोर्ट कहला जे आधार कार्ड एइथ पे देखिबो ताहाले तमे फ्रॉडुलेंट अकाउंट अछि ना नै हमें चेक कर परिबा. डबल अकाउंट अछि ना नहीं, दीटा आधार अछि कि नहीं. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? सो कोन कहितली गोटे हला कोन कहितली रेस्ट्रिक्शन गोटे कहली ना ना ता पूर्व कोन कहितली जे गोटे कहितली जे
relationship between action
तापरे
and consequences
and third हला reasonable. माने तीनटा कथा तमर जो एक्शन हला तमर फ्रीडम रहिला फ्रीडम ऊपर रेस्ट्रिक्शन आला स्टेट रो काम हला रेस्ट्रिक्शन कंट्रोल यार कंट्रोल जेमते नहीं सलमान खान कोन कंट्रोल यार देखछो ना नहीं से संजय दत्त फिल्म हां संजय कंट्रोल स्टेट रो काम हला कंट्रोल जुडिशियल रो काम हला whether the control is reasonable संस्था अछि तमे कहबो जे मु सब कहबी चिंता हबनी सो आर्टिकल 25 रे फ्रीडम अछि ता संगरे रेस्ट्रिक्शन अछि किंतु दैट रेस्ट्रिक्शन दा रीजनेबल कि नो कोड मार्क क्लियर है अबे 26 को जीवा 26 का टिके भलो करी नजर करो बहुत लोक एटा को भलो करी बुझंती नहीं subject to public order morality and health again subject कौन हला ना every religious denomination has freedom please note down has freedom to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purposes eta nihati note karo this is very very important Waqf Amendment Act pai the most relevant article is article 26 कौन कहूची जे subject to public order morality and health every religious denomination please note down religious denomination every religion has a right to do what establish and maintain institution for religious and charitable purpose. दानो धर्म और दानो तापर कहला own acquire and administer please note down own acquire and administer movable and immovable property 26 को एकदम भलो करी कोट करिवो have you understood 25 टा इथरा आसु एक्चुअली 26 टा इथरा आसु आर यू ऑल गेटिंग मी अरे क्लियरली बुझছো कि नहीं कथाटा
Yes, sir.
बुझो सो एई थरे कथा होची नाउ क्वेश्चन होची रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन ता माने कोन रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन माने कोन तमे जो तिलक मार के यदि जीवो ताहले तुम कहबे कि तमे साउथ इंडियन ब्राह्मण बोली तमे यदि चंदन मार के जीवो कहबे सा ब्राह्मण बोली कहबे एटा कोन रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन religious denomination has not been defined in the constitution please note down the constitution doesn't throw any light the religious denomination is kon religious denomination kon ए जो पुरी रो जो अछि पीठ अछि कोन जगन्नाथ को जो पीठ अछि कोन सेटा कोन रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन जो बसिकरी जो बड़ पहाच बसिकरी तुमको गोइठा मारचंती पुरी रे कोन ना मुक्ति मंडप कोन रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन जो गोइठा तो मारुची मला कि तो गोइठाटा मारुची से तो भाउचो नै बहुत भलो मते पुण्य कला मते गोइठा मारला So religious denomination ta ko religious denomination hala eta define kala Supreme Court in 1954 please note down in the Srirur Mutt case please note down Srirur Mutt case SHRIUR Mutt case MUTT case एटा तमे जदि आंसर देखिलो मास्टर जाने से एटा बहुत कथा जानि छि रे सो 54 रे फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम डिबेट हला जे ए जो सिरूर मठ अछि एटा रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन कि नो एटी सरा ब्राह्मण वाला का बहुत उत्पाद करथले तांकर सो रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिस अलगा थिला सो कोर्ट सेड यस इट इज अ रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन so say for the first time the Supreme Court said जे जदि बहुत गुडे लोक गोटे पर्टिकुलर रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिस को बहुत दिन धरी से मानुचंती ताले सेटा गोटे रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन if a large number of people please note down if a large number of people are believing and practicing a particular religion, particular religious practice, a particular religious practice, it is to be called a religious denomination. If a large number of people are following and practicing a certain religious practice, then it would be called a religious denomination. যদি অনেক লোক গোটে ସବୁ ସମସ୍ତେ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କରୁଛନ୍ତି, ଗୋଟେ ଧର୍ମର ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, a certain so they said এই ଶ୍ରୀରୁ ମଠରେ ଯୋଉ ଲୋକ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ବହୁତ ଦିନ 150 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା ଏମାନେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ same Supreme Court, please note down, the same Supreme Court did not accept that in the Sabrimala case. Please note down. ବୁଝିପାରୁଛ ତ? କେସ୍ ରେ ସେମାନେ କହିଲେ ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ ଥିଲା ଯେ କୌଣସି ମାନେ ଯୋଉ ମେନଷ୍ଟ୍ରୁଆଲ ସାଇକେଲ ଯୋଉ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ଲୋକମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ତାକୁ ଏଣ୍ଟ୍ରି କରିବେ ନାହିଁ, ସେଇ କଥାଟା ଯୋଉ ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରାକ୍ଟିସ ଥିଲା ତାକୁ ସେମାନେ କହିଲେ ନାଇଁ, ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ନଟ୍ ଏ ରିଲିଜିୟସ୍ ଡିନୋମିନେସନ। और सुनता रिलीजियस डिनोमिनेशन की नो ताहा भी कोर्ट मानलानी, कहला नाही अरविंद सोसाइटी इज नॉट ए रिलीजियस। तांकर सला श्रीमांकर भक्त सब अछंती, पंडिचेर अछंती, से भक्तोरा कहले सला आमे रिलीजियस आ किए, आमे तो मानुचु अरविंद कथा, श्रीमान कथा मानुचु, but you are not accepting it. Are you all getting me? So the point I am trying to bring to your notice is, please note down that this is a very subjective interpretation. So one of the criticisms of the Supreme Court is that many a times its interpretation is not objective but subjective.
Sir, large number of people follow one particular religion for how long? Any
No, ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ତମେ କହିବ ଯେ 2 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କିଏ କହିବ 5 ବର୍ଷ କରୁଛନ୍ତି, କିଏ କହୁଛି 100 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ସୋ ଏଇଗୁଡାକ ସବୁ କୋର୍ଟ କହିବ ନାହିଁ 5 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲେ ଠିକ ଅଛି, କିଏ କହିବ ନାହିଁ ଖାଇ 5 ବର୍ଷ ନାହିଁ ସାର୍ 50 ବର୍ଷ ହଉ ବହୁତ। ଏଗୁଡାକ ସବୁ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ଶୁଣ, ଗୋଟେ ତମେ ମନେ ରଖ, ତମେ as a civil servant you must understand that these are not objective things. These are not like E equal to MC square. These are not like MB equal to PT. These are not Archimedes principle. Please remember this. These are not, जिनके हमें कहले proportionality test रे कोटा rational रहुची जे ना एक कथा कले एक कथा हबो, तो कथा बुझो तो सेही भलिया इथरे नाही। सेही पई please note down, in the Sabrimala case there was a dissenting opinion by a lady judge. A lady Supreme Court judge, she gave a dissenting judgment. Secret uda sobu Chandrachud kimiti sobu janle jeta religious denomination no boli. But many people say that koda stree hisabare se kimiti dala se stree bhadlani kala mu judge hoji. When I put on the gown of a judge, I am no longer a lady. I cannot think like a lady. I have to think like a judge. Sure, kimti sir kimti apan bhabile eta religious denomination no, because you don't like it, you don't like this restriction. Are you getting my point? So gote jinsa ta ko ban kariya pe gote illogical way tam ban kar pe pare, gote jinsa kharab hi pare, kintu tome jo ban karucho it has to be backed by some logic, and that logic was not there in the Sabrimala case. Jemte amaro Ayodhya judgment hala, it was not backed by any evidence. It was based on belief. Please note down, the entire judgment was based on belief and not evidence. आमे भाबुचु एठी थिला मंदिर थिला, एठी लोक पूजा करथिले, भाबुचु एटा faith. It is faith. It is not based on evidence. A judgment has to be based on evidence. Are you getting my point? हमको भल लागला जजमेंट टा जे हमर एटी गोटे हिंदू मंदिर हला हमको हला किंतु बट इट वाज एन अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल जजमेंट आर यू ऑल गेटिंग मी कथा बुझु कि नहीं माने हमको कथाटा भल लागला बोली ता अर्थ न से कथाटा भल बोली से कथाटा कन्फ्यूजन कथा बुझु तो एनीवे so have you all understood the establishment so religious denomination establish maintain institutional religion and own acquire and administer movable property and last article hala article 29 please note of article 29 which talks of protection of interest of minority in matters of educational institution बुझिया ना 25 और 26 हला religious institution पे 29 हला educational institution is it clear so age of freedom rahna minority ro but it is subject to restriction by the state now it is for the Supreme Court to say whether the restriction is reasonable or not is that clear to all of you or not so ame the Waqf Amendment Act dekhuche we have to see whether these articles are getting affected or not there is a challenge here Supreme Court please note down the challenge is based on these 3 articles. Sir, I add 14 tago, but 14 doesn't apply here. से जो appeal करचंती so different संस्था so appeal करचंती Supreme Court को से 14 टाको जोड़चंती तो मैं कहबो दी आरंभ करिवो थरो जे the Waqf Amendment Act has been challenged based on article 25 26 and 29 which enumerate the rights of minority in regard to administration of religious institutions and education institutions. Empty karikri arambha kari. Are you following me or not? ei bhaya gote goli kariki amar di kolo प्रथम ओवर रे 20 रन मार दलो पिटी दलो हमर जेमती रोहित शर्मा रे माडो हे गला गोटे ताहले से आरो टीम टा तार हालत खराब हो से तो कथा बिलो के मिचेल स्टाफ टा को से 4टा 6 मार दलो से कोनटा अवस्था बता हो कहलो 6 फुट 6 इंच लोकटा प्राय 150 मीटर दौड़ी के आछी ताको माइला 6 मारला 4टा 6 मार मोर एबे भी मने अछि तेंदुलकर सड़ा 5 फुट 6 इंच हो छोटे हो ताको माग्रत को वो बैंगलोर देखुतले 99 बहुत क्रिकेट भल लागे ताको सड़ा आसिकरे आको आसिकरे 6 टे मारला ता मुंडो ऊपर 6 फुट 4 इंच पिन पिन सड़ा माइला ताको से ताको अनु जिता कोन गला बॉलटा कोन बुझु ता एमती आरंभ करियो कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन इज अबाउट opening extremely well देखो Waqf Amendment Bill has been passed in the Parliament, but it has now gone for challenge to Supreme Court. Act. Hello.
Religious interest of minorities is protected by Constitution.
Yes.
But religious education is not protected.
It is also protected. No. See, देखो हमर एटा ओरा अलगा इशू तमे चली गेलो एटा अलगा इशू चली गेलो सेत पे जो माने सब many people believe ame gote we are trying to eta kochunte ame minority appeasement kochu dekho many people believe that these articles are articles for minority appeasement ame minority ko appease kare pe eta koruche kintu eta ame kole ethi pe je gote samaj re gote जेहेतु गोटे अलग टाइप रो समस्त से तार अलग टाइप रो खाउची पीढ़ारे से खाउची से तार अलग तेणु तमें तो कहबा जे सेटा बाजेल गोटा निहती एमती कोन खाउची एमती कोन पूजा करूची ताहले कोन तो रही परिबा कैन बी कोएग्जिस्ट इटा एथ में करा हिची टू मेंटेन कम्युनल हार्मनी प्लीज रिमेंबर माने इट इज अ चॉइस दैट वी मेड पाकिस्तान डिडंट मेक दैट चॉइस पाकिस्तान से नहीं तमे यदि मुसलमान ना हो ताल तमे एटी सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन के रुहो बट इंडिया डिडंट चूज टू डू दैट आर यू ऑल गेटिंग मी तमे कहबे जे नाही एटा भूल हला से तो भाबी पारो किंतु बट दिस इज हाउ आवर लीडर्स थॉट अबाउट दिस जे आमे गोटे coexistence होगा now what issue होचे जे आमे कोन माइनॉरिटी को बेसी तेल मारिबा ना अपीसमेंट करिबा तेरो किंतु संविधान कहूची जे तांकर माइनॉरिटी कोन जिस मन रखो सब बळे unless you are a minority you don't understand the insecurity with which you live as a minority please remember this is very very important आमे मेजॉरिटी कम्युनिटी अच्छे ना पूरा मुसलमान मान करो जो घेटोरे रहिबाटा तार जो एक्सपीरियंस टा टू लिव इन फियर इज अ डिफरेंट फियर सो हु कोर्ट ताकू प्रोटेक्शन दबो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन संविधान प्रोटेक्शन दबो गोटे कथा होछ कोन माने मु ऑल द टाइम आई कीप ऑन सेइंग जे आमे ताकू गोटे सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन करी करी ताका हम गोडो तळे रखिबा जिम तमे स्वामी स्त्री को रखुची एग्जैक्टली से इंडियन सोसाइटी रे गोटे इंडियन सोसाइटी कोन बेसिकली गोटे हस्बैंड गोटे वाइफ को दादागिरी करके रखियो तक ता ऊपर गोटे दबेक रखियो चाटा आनलु अरे ताको बुढ़िया पाइलु कि नाही एमती गोटे दबेक रखिछि गोटे तार प्रॉपर्टी टाइप रखिछि माने आज भी इंडियन सोसाइटी इज अ हाईली यू नो मेल डोमिनेटेड सोसाइटी अरे से कहीं चाटे बनो तमे चाटे बनुनो तमे करथो तमे जनता के तमे ही चाटा बनुनो सो यू सी are you all getting me so amar it's a symptom of the kind of society you want to live do you want to live in a liberal society please note down tame gote liberal values like rahu chahcho na to conservative value like rahu chahcho please note down this is very important our constitution was based on liberal values and not a conservative value conservative value जे सब आइदर तमे माने मुसलमान के रुहो नले इटु जाओ धक्का खाई जाओ अरे गुड पॉइंट तमे हमर माने सेकंड क्लास सिटीजन रुहो अरे गुड पॉइंट माय बेसिक डिफरेंस विथ आरएसएस इज दैट मो जो छोटो थिली स्कूल रे पढुतली 1962 रे आई वाज अ पार्ट ऑफ द आरएसएस मते बहुत आरएसएस भल लागतला ड्रिल फिल होतला आमे गोटे माने पैट्रियोटिज्म मते भल लागतला बट एज आई ग्रू अप आई आल्सो फाइंड दैट इट इज आल्सो बेस्ड ऑन hatred for the Muslims then I changed but for me also I have evolved as a person what hardcore communist thili the college re podthili hardcore communist thili hardcore leftist thili तापर जब देखिले मुके युवा सा बेसी सब माने देश प्रगति करिवनी इज लेफ्टिस्ट हेले so I become a liberal democrat the point which I'm trying to say is that my vision of a good society is based on liberal values and the constitution precisely preaches that liberal democracy तो बुझी पछन कथाटा हां
माने हमें तांको मुस्लिम मानन को तांकर माइनॉरिटी मानन को तांकर राइट दबा रे हमर सुविधा नहीं तो वी आर फुल्ली लिबरल टू गिव all the rights whatever required in all dimensions and totally free totally they are free no restriction but same time माने हमें हम जो हिंदू कम्युनिटी जो मेजॉरिटी तांको हमें तांकर राइट्स को we cannot deny
certainly not
all are equal
yes
we are giving all rights all can perform their whatever education but in madrasa is funded by state and Quran can be not there
सुनो एगुडा कथा होची कोन
गीता is not cannot be taught in
सुनो एगुडा कथा होची कोन एगुडा को कोर्ट कहूची पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन प्लीज नोट डाउन कोर्ट सुप्रीम देखो सुप्रीम कोर्ट रो गोटे तमे बुझी परसम कथा उडा को एडा होची कोर्ट कहूची गोटे पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बोली कहूची बट मोस्ट ऑफ अस डोंट एग्री विथ दैट बट दैट इज हाउ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन हैज बीन इंटरप्रेटेड मो तो अनेक केस जजमेंट देछि मते the constitution has been interpreted that way by the Supreme Court okay so you can give your viewpoint on that but the point is the court is also saying je jodi tanko ame tike disproportionate न करिबा नामे करिबा ताले से माने mainstream आस्परिबे एटा होची तांकर आर्गुमेंट गोटा होची कथा होची कोन how do these people come to the mainstream जो कथाटा अंबेडकर please note down this please note down this because this is a very important point on which let me finish the debate here gote katha hochi जे आमे पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन ता कौन पॉजिटिव डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हला जे आमे रिजर्वेशन देले प्लीज नोट डाउन रिजर्वेशन देले कहा को देले एससी को देले एसटी को देले ओबीसी को देले ईडब्ल्यूएस को देले प्लीज नोट डाउन ते लेख नोट करो आमे एससी को देले एसटी को देले ओबीसी को देले ईडब्ल्यूएस को देले काहेंगी देले जे एमाने जदि तंग आमे रिजर्वेशन न दबा ताले जतरे एम्प्लॉयमेंट आसीबो से माने डिस्प्रोपोर्शनेटली लेस शेयर ऑफ पोस्ट विल कम टू देम बामो ओडा सब खाई दिबे bring to have employment opportunity as per their population. There is a scheduled caste. Hela tomorrow 14% hela. Class 1 service re jodi ame reservation tamu न दबा गोटे % भी पाइबे नहीं maximum गोटे % पाइबे बर्तमान ताको ame 14% देइचे. Are you all getting me? Now this is a mechanism to facilitate it so that they can also have an ambitions to become an IAS officer. No, otherwise peon hai kiri safai wala hai kiri tankal life ta jibo. Now question is the point coming, should reservation be perennial and perpetual? Should this reservation be perennial and perpetual? Hey, bane chali thibo jugo thoi chali thibo keta. I do not agree with that. That's one. Second kothala, please note down, in the US, they don't believe in reservation. They believe in affirmative action. Please note down. They believe in what? Affirmative action. Tome the Negro nature. Negroes also constitute about 13% of America's population. There is reservation for them in Harvard, but they get help like concessional loans, education loan, concession, tar khaibar tako subsidized food diya jauchi, scholarship diya jauchi. These are called affirmative action. So I consistently feel, I give a view consistently. Mo kotha ki soji khali pagal bela कहले कौन लाभ अछि किंतु मु दिस इज व्हाट आई कीप ऑन आर्गुइंग जे इंडिया रे वी शुड हैव अफर्मेटिव एक्शन तांको बही दियो तांको संस्था पढ़िया को दियो तांको फी माफ करो किंतु डोंट गिव देम रिजर्वेशन दिस इज व्हाट तो सेठ में तुम देखिबो जो माने सब अमेरिका रे जो ब्लैक्स माने सेक्रेटरी ऑफ स्टेट होचंती हम कहउचंती दे डोंट लैक इन क्वालिटी ओबामा को देखो he has not come as a reservation. But you see how he speaks. So the moment you have reservation, it goes against the concept of merit. Please note down. It goes against the concept of what? Merit. 100% it is anti-merit. एक तरह कौन से संदेह है? 100% it is anti-merit. तमें merit तक को तमें सीधे private sector से मन दो उन्हांती reservation दो उन्हांती private sector दो उन्हांती बुझ पड़ता तो have I understood? So I also very sincerely believe that age of minority appeasement is now also a good thing. Kintu age instead of them no rakhiba tanku no rakhiba tal kon habo we will not have a harmonious society. You take it from me. Eta panchta chota loko nahanti. Minority, please note down, constitute 19% of India's population. 20% होचंती हमारा minority. 13% थोड़ा मुसलमान, 2% सिख, 2% पोझी होतर के हायर करते हैं 2%.
Vaishnavi madam, please mute.
About 18 to 19% होचंती हमारा minority होचंती. And even at promotion level, even in promotion, they are also getting that. So that is again, you get reservation promotion for SC ST. तुम्हारे SC ST तुम्हारी junior थी वो, से तुम्हारा boss ही पारे. So please note down, this is except for class 1 services. Promotion is प्रमोशन रे मध्य सेमानक रिजर्वेशन रहउछि प्लीज नोट डाउन तमे जम्मा माने ये भूल धारणा हुओनी तमर जूनियर तुमको जे हेइतबो माने हेइतो से तुमको जम मारदार चांस भी अछि प्रमोशन दे हैव कोटा रे करता अछि दैट्स अगेन ए वेरी पर्निशियस सिस्टम हमें बहुत अब कोर्ट रोसो कुछ बहुत बढ़िया कथा उडा सब कोर्ट हैज ऑलवेज सेड कि एटा बढ़िया कथा होछि No, court is not looking at the merit aspect at all. मु थरे DY चंद्रचूड़ को चैलेंज करथिली कि तू कहूछु जे मेरिट एट अफेक्टेड हो किमति कथा कहूछु हाउ डू यू से दैट मेरिट इज नॉट अफेक्टेड अरे कंपटीशन जते न आसला गोटे पिला 35 मार्क खरी पाइला आ गोटे पिला 55 मार्क पाइला मेरिट डिफरेंस आसीबनी को बते 35 मार्क रखली तमे आईएएस पाउछो 55 मार्क पति जने आईएएस पाइबो डिफरेंस होबनी
incapable persons are going to
से होची ता अर्थ न जे जो एयर इंडिया टा चलोतला कोन से शेड्यूल कास्ट चलोतला बोली से हां 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 सो इटा हे गला तम हे गला now we go to the Waqf Amendment. Okay, now what is a Waqf? What is a Waqf? First we must understand je gote Waqf hala gote permanent donation. Please note down, a Waqf is a permanent donation. Permanent donation, it's a permanent endowment. Endowment mane donation, gift, permanent. The gift is permanent. It is an endowment of movable and immovable property for pious, religious or charitable purposes under the Muslim law given by philanthropists called Waqif. Ji daba tab kahanti Waqif. Please note down. Waqif. Waqf hala donation tak pahunchanti Waqf. Tapare Waqf is of two types. Please note down. Jetal tama donation korucho, Waqf could be Waqf alal aulad or Waqf for public benefit. Gotela Waqf alal औलाद वाकफ अलल औलाद रे तमे कहबो जे तमे जोटा गिफ्ट दोचो दैट इज फॉर योर चिल्ड्रन तमरो जो माने सक्सेसर अछते इट इज नॉट फॉर अदर्स यू आर गिविंग ए गिफ्ट व्हिच विल बी एंजॉयड बाय माय सक्सेसर्स औलाद माने poor. Please remember, it was limited to boys. It was limited to men. Age of amendment it has been extended to daughters. Are you all getting me? Age of Waqf alal aulad. माने जिमते हमर इंडियन सोसाइटी रे हमर ओडिसा रे खाली पुओ होचंती मुसलमान मान का से आहुरी बेसी or for public benefit. जोटा public benefit हला से जात माने schools पाई hospital पाई एउडा का सब सन दोछ. Now let us see the size of the problem. Please note down. गोटा हला 8.7 lakh property valued at almost $12 billion. This is the kind of Waqf property which is there. Please note down, about 9.4 lakh acres today is under the various Waqf boards. बुझिपड़छु तो 8.7 lakh Waqf property अछि तार total valuation हला about 12 billion lakh कोटी टका. How much of acres are involved? 9.4 lakh acres. Now they own the third highest amount of land in this country after the railways and the defense services. Is it clear to all of you? प्रथम है रेलवे मैक्सिमम लैंड अच्छी तापरे डिफेंस अच्छी तापरे होची वकफ बोर्ड रे. Now please note down what a Sachar committee report हेतला. Please note down in 2005 Sachar committee, this report was a report which said how the Muslim community is being discriminated against, how they are behind even the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. This commission report said that how the condition of the Muslims is as bad as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. They also commented, please note down, the first committee which commented about them is on the Waqf property is the Sachar commission. Se कहला जे तांकर जो property अच्छी, it is highly mismanaged and undervalued. माने जो property रू 10,000 कोटी टंका मिलिबा कथा तमे ताको देखोचो 100 कोटी टंका देखोचो. Are you getting my point? So therefore these boards were sitting on large amount of land where the returns were very, very low. Are you getting my point? तापर लिखा जितना ब्रिटिशर्स थिले सो सेतेबेले फर्स्ट रे वकफ एक्ट हेतला 1923 रे. प्लीज नोट डाउन 1923. तापरे 1995 रे नरसिंह राव टाइम रे the act was amended. 1923 act was amended time रे. And now we have, please note down, United Waqf Management Empowerment, Efficiency and Development Act, UWEED Act, UWEED. तुमको क्वेश्चन यदि आसीबो UWEED Act तमे हठात भाई बसा कोणी को एक्ट कथा कहूची. This is the name of the new act. You should not be surprised by this name. And this clearly shows how they want to manage it, how they want to change the empowerment, how it should be more efficiently run, and how it should be more development oriented. बुझी पड़छो तो कथा एटा होचे नुआ एक्ट रो. Now the Central Waqf Council, please note down, is under the Ministry of Minority Affairs. Under the Ministry of Minority Affairs. The Ministry of Minority Affairs, please note down, is not run by Muslims. Please note down. About जो Ministry अच्छी, Ministry of Minority Affairs अच्छी, तार जो माने Secretary अच्छंती की Joint Secretary अच्छंती, they are not necessarily from the minority community. Please note down. Very, very important. The management of the oversight agency over the Waqf boards and all is done by non-Muslims. Please remember, this is very important. You got a challenge which is non-Muslims should have no. At the ministry level,
after the amendment.
Not after amendment. Pratham. The Ministry of Minority Affairs, Ministry of Minority Affairs happened much later. Rajiv Gandhi somewhere. Say a conscious decision it will not be run by people from the minority. There could be one or two minorities, but there have been many people from the majority community. Are you getting my point? So here is a reservation line. Please note down. Almost half of the property, please note, almost half the property are disputed. They do not lack proper status. There are 59,000 encroachments of government property. मैंने almost आधा status किसी clear नहीं हो, कहाँ जगह कौन जगह इशू बड़ा clear नहीं. We'll see why it is so. Please note down. Then how did this trigger come? मैंने ये अमित शाह मुंडरे इटा किम जासिला? Eta asila, please note down. In 2012, please note down. Gota Karnataka Waqf board ro gota scam hela. Same thare 37,000 koti, 37,000 acre land were misappropriated or allocated illegally by this Waqf. Eta hala triggering point. A scam ta. Please note down. तमें भाबो जे सडनली इटा कोटे हमको मुंडू को आसला से बुढ़ा देखला सला एड़ा उड़ा स्कैम करचंती सला जमी फमी उड़ा का नेगिरी बिकाबी करगिरी पैसा खाउ और जमी इज वेरी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट टुडे एंड यू नो हाउ प्रॉपर्टीज आर टुडे यू नो बुझु तो
will not be necessarily Muslim and others may be this news is only a showing development
कोटे
showing development not getting
नहीं नहीं सुनो माने मु सुनो ताका जो मिनिस्ट्री तो छाड़ सुनो माने आमे फर्स्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड जे जो एट द मिनिस्ट्री लेवल देयर हैव बीन नॉन मुस्लिम मेंबर्स बट एज फार द council and the board is concerned, please note down, as far as the council and board is concerned, it is completely manned by Muslims today and no women, please note down, and no women. This is very important. बुझी पूछो कि नहीं मिनिस्ट्री लेवल रे there is no reservation for only Muslims, but at the central council level and the state board level रे it is only run by Muslims without any women. I would kotha man rakha, please note down. I would bahut matra jodi kichi dispute hala Waqf board re, that would be decided by the Waqf board. Please note down. If there is a dispute on any property, that would be decided by the Waqf board and not by the collector. Manakuta Indian administration had no role to oversee these disputes. Are you all getting me?
When we run as a quasi judicial or a complete judicial body?
No, it is not a. So no, it also kota. Dekho, there can be these are all trusts. Trusts mane kon hala? Dekho, there are three types. So me three types. Gota hala company, gota hala society. Please note down. Company, gota hala society, and gota hala trust. There can be four forms. So me mone gota kotha bhabani. Gota hala either you are an individual, or there is a company, or there is a society, or there is a trust. Please note down. Tome either would an individual hai paribo, or you can be part of a company, private company. So company ro hala, it is to make profit. Company ro kamo hala, paisa baneva. Shareholders ko paisa baneva. Society ro kamo hala, society ro welfare kariba. Paisa baneva nahi. Society kon kamo welfare. Trust kamo hala, it is basically religious. So please remember, if you are a trust, you are not subject to taxation. Please note down. If you are a trust, you are not subject to taxation. But if you are a society, you are subject to taxation. Company to taxation achi. Bujhi porcho to? Have you understood now? A Waqf board is a trust. It is a trust. It is not a society, nor is it a company. Company they are milking money out of the trust. Jami bikle, paisa khaile. Are bujhi porcho nahi. Trust na negri, dharma na negri, paisa banauchanti. Now let us see. Eta tik bhalo kare note karo. Now let us see what is the issue and what is the amendment. Olad. धर तमर तमे मरीगला पूर्व तमे बोर्ड को कहला जे ए जो जगह मोर प्रॉपर्टी अच्छी एटा मु तुमको वक्फ तुमको देली. It becomes part of the वक्फ property. किंतु ए जो प्रॉपर्टी रा जो बेनिफिट टा मोर पिला मान को जीव किंतु जदि सेटा जदि वर्क औलाद न हबो ताले इट कैन गो फॉर अदर पर्पसेस स्कूल हबो Muslims will donate. Muslims only will donate. Aswa se issue aswa. The donation will be by Muslims. Muslims only. There is an issue there which will come to that. Will come to that. Are you all getting me? Huh? Dr. Mushra, so now let us see what are the debates involved. First, please note down. Waqf by user doctrine. Please note down. एटा कौन होची जो तुम जो ता कहूची एटा को शॉर्ट नोट भी आस्ता है. Waqf by user doctrine. Now what does it mean? It means जे धरा गोटे property टे properly registered है नहीं. There is no written deed. You have overlisted something. मरे पूर्व कहली जे मोरे 15 एकड़ मु तो दे देली वक़फ को दे देली. It has not been recorded in the Land Act. बुझो तो. So as per the earlier Waqf board provision Waqf provision जे जदि तमे गोटे long term use अछि गोटे if something has been used for a long time then there is no dispute on that. So it becomes part of the Waqf board. Title thao ki no thao. Seitare government चाबी लगोची. Government कहूची जे ए जो doctrine टा, please note down, this doctrine is valid except where it is disputed or it is a government property. Please note down. ठीक है भलो के बुझो. गोटे हला while the present act after debate in the parliamentary committee is recognizing जे जदि गोटे वक़फ बोर्ड रे गोटे जिनिस बहुत दिन अछि जमिटा अछि सेटारे आग्रो एक्ट रे कोनोसी डिस्प्यूट नथिला आज जे डिस्प्यूट हला वक़फ बोर्ड तक बुझुतला. वर्तमान गवर्नमेंट कहूची नाही जदि सेटरे गोटे डिस्प्यूट रहउची कि गवर्नमेंट प्रॉपर्टी बिल अछि गोटे गवर्नमेंट प्रॉपर्टी को तमे देखोछ वक़फ बोर्ड रे ताले सेटा वक़फ बाय यूजर हबो नाही. I personally feel that it is a very good provision. अरे बुझ पछु नै आमे तले बोर्ड रो अमेंडमेंट सुडा देखिबा तापर नेक्स्ट हला practicing Islam requirement as donor. एई थरे सरकार कहूची जे तमे गोटे 5 वर्ष minimum you have to show that you have been practicing the Islam religion. Again it's a point of debate. Please note down, this is a point of debate. ये जो कथा 5 वर्ष जो रखुचंती stipulation, somebody will say that supposing मु वर्षे हला Islam practice करची कि why should I be deprived? माने एई थरे क्वेश्चन होची जे जदी sufficiently long period तमे यदि Islamic practice न करूचो ताहाले तमे वक़फ बोर्ड को देई परियो. एटा होची गवर्नमेंट और rational. But Muslims are feeling that एटा यदि रखा जीवो ताहाले you are restricting. You are restricting this donation by Muslims. So सेटा को समाने article 14 डाउन चलते. Please note, एटा उसमाने article 14 डाउन चलते. माने equal right of a Muslim, please note down, equal right of a Muslim to donate. एई जिनसटा को हमें चैलेंज करछे. Equal right of a Muslim. तमे वर्षकर मुस्लिम हो कि 30 वर्षर दाढ़िया मुस्लिम हो. So बुझबो तो कथा. So you are a practicing Muslim. So एई थरे गोटे डिस्टिंक्शन सरकार आनुची. Naturally बदमाशी करिया तो ठीक पड़िबो तो. So एईटा गोटे बदमाशी. तापर कहूची collector's role in the survey. Please note down. Now एई थरे कहूचंती an officer above the rank of collector disputed property to be treated as government land. जदि गोटे government land it is a dispute हेची ताहले it cannot become a Waqf board. It will remain in the government's hand. Fourth lekha, 6 months limitation for legal proceedings सेटा को बर्तन बढ़ाई दी तापर गोटे मेजर चेंज मैंने करचंती ए जो वक्फ औला जो अच्छी नो डिनायल ऑफ राइट्स टू heirs including women. I again consider that to be progressive part. जो restricts करथिले जो gender discrimination करथिले that gender discrimination has been removed. Is that clear? तापर inclusion of non-Muslim in the Waqf institution. एटा गोटा बहुत important issue. It was at least 2 non-Muslim members both in the council and boards. This is again a point of debate. Either samane Article 26 को invoke करते. Please note down. This is where Article 26(1) is being invoked. How I run my religious institution, I have full freedom. So, कहते जे तमे तो एई गुडा रखिना हिंदू institution रखिना कि Christian. So now there is an apprehension जदि एटा पास हे गला तापरे next आसीबो Christians मानकर. Christians also have a huge property. So school full Catholic schools बहुत जमबडी रखते समान आसीबो Sikhs मानक पई बहुत रखते बुझतो त. So this will have a chain impact. बुझ पड़छो त ना. So inclusion of non-Muslims in Waqf institution, एटा गोटे, this is something with the Supreme Court may not agree. And particularly they think that since the CJI is a Buddhist, he may not like it. He may not include it. And he will bring in his own personal distinct. Mandatory registration portal. It is a बहुत भलो कथा करचंती. एटा को मध्य किसी लोग कुछ ना registration है लेसो धरा पड़ जीवो किए property अच्छी. So this is again a good thing. ये तो कौन भलो वाला कहला? what कहला? First, third, eight about the fifth, last la mandatory. इतने debate असला कोथरे practicing requirement and inclusion of non-Muslims. It also debate. Now, what is the justification? Please note down. What is the justification? So justification re kochi policy justification re that it will bring in institutional transparency and digital governance. It will bring in legal clarity and prevention of unlawful claims. It will promote gender equality, gender representation, and women's empowerment. It will be inclusive, and there would be legal redress, protection of government land, reclamation of encroached property, professionalization and structural modernization of work. कोठी तमे रखियो तमे बुझी परछो तो माने तमे आमे जो लेखला पर अमेंडमेंट लेखला पर दिस इज द बेसिस ऑन व्हिच द गवर्नमेंट हैज मेड द एक्ट. ये जो पॉलिसी जस्टिफिकेशन ता होची ये जो अमेंडमेंट रा जस्टिफिकेशन. When you write that these are the amendments and these amendments are predicated on the following justification. Is that clear? All of you try to answer this because I want to give you as a question so that you know your answers. We come to the last one. What is the petition before the Supreme Court? Pratham inclusion of non-Muslim members, violates constitutional protection, removal of waqf by user excludes potential donors, empowerment of district collector to determine ownership of disputed property instead of waqf boards. It out another issue. Repeal of, please note down, repeal of section 107 of the Waqf Act, making Limitation Act applicable to waqf property. Limitation Act mane got a particular period pore jodi eta disputed property achi seta government ko chali. It has a limitation. Now the BBC says that many properties have been orally dominated and donated and without written dates will not be classified as waqf, and the law threatens secularism and will deepen constitutional divide. So please write down the question. All of you answer this. Please bring out the policy justification of the Waqf Amendment Act and bring out the validity of the petitions before the Supreme Court based on constitutional protection provided to the minorities in this country. Can you read it out, please, Peter? Can somebody read it out? Thank you.
Bring out the policy justification.
देखो सुना ये क्वेश्चन कौन दी सर? ठीक है सुनिए ठीक हाँ.
Bring out the policy justification of the Waqf Amendment Act and bring out the validity of the petition before the Supreme Court based on constitutional protection provided to the minorities in this case.
एटा समान समतो एटा को तुमको के सबमिट करे तो सबमिट करू नाहंती जमा सुना एटा काहे मु कहूची नहीं मते से सुना जा पठु नाहंती एटा खाली चकमा मारुचन जमा करू नाहंती आज काली गोटे बहुत मजा कथा करचंती आ मौने किछि चुपचाप रहउचंती ले कोन से खाली काढ देबे 2 मिनिट काढ देबे तमरे एम तो गोटे रखिन गोटे स्ट्रेटजी रखचंती जोडा सब आगरु करूतले सेडा अन्य मान को देखि कि राव करू नाहंती तमे टिके प्लीज एन्श्योर दिस मु गोटे काम करछि एक क्वेश्चन टे टिके तमे तमको देई दबो ताको तमे टिके सर्कुलेट कर दियो माने व्हाट आई वांट टू माने व्हाई आई एम सेइंग दिस न तो बसे कि तमको करे दियो गोटे थरा एटा थरे कले कोन हबो नाले घर नाले बसे खाली उतार देबे मुझा करछि एटा सब उतार देबे माने संग सब उस्ताद सब अछि ना केमिति गोटे तो लाभ किछ हबनी माने व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से गोटे भलो डेप्थ रे तुम आंसर करिवो ताले सब केस रे तमे तुमको एटा बहुत डिटेल बेरे ठीक लागला कि तुमको नहीं हां एटा तुम गोटे प्लीज सर्कुलेट दिस ठीक है प्लीज सर्कुलेट दिस माय अर्नेस्ट रिक्वेस्ट नले एटा जम हां रिना तुम दे के जीवो सर को हां ताको धरिबो ताको से ताको धरिबो ताको जहा को तुम धरिबो ताको से नले ताको बड़ कष्ट है धरिबा भारी कष्ट ओडा इते डिफिकल्ट ना कहबार नै सब सुनवे जिमते कहे बाध्य छात्र गोटा सुनुछन सब किंतु केतेबेले खसी जिवे कोडा किछि ठिकाना नै केतेबेले स्लीप रे कैच चालिबो किछि जानि होबनी एनीवे ठीक अछि थैंक यू वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट वन हां एटा गोटा खाली एंट्री ऑर्डर लिखिछि एंट्री ऑर्डर जस्ट क्विकली लेट्स गो they not to appoint non muslims to the waqf board to councils माने till a judgment is given not to appoint, please note down, not to appoint non-Muslims to waqf boards. So most likely this may not be approved. Tapare not to denotify or disturb properties recognized as waqf. Tapare erasure of waqf by user, eta jo korchonti seita ko bi isman korchonti. Administrative denotification even where courts have declared property as waqf, that should not be there, and limiting Muslims to 5 years of standing, and it hurts article 25, 26 and 29. Okay, so it karo abe gote second we will do this very carefully today
sir
ha ko
वक्फ एक्ट रे जदि हमहु पचारचंती इंटरव्यू रे तो एते बडा हम समाप्त करके छोटे रे केमती करबु टिके खाली जस्ट खाली उटे लाइट थ्रो कर दे भलो हंता हमको
about 250 words ma about 250 words से कहबो अराउंड 250 वर्ड से लिखो तुम लेख 500 वर्ड्स के लेख किसी असुविधा नहीं तुम लेख टिके मु जानिया को चाहूँ तुम केमती लिखुच आई वांट टू
ना सर
नो
मैं कहते इंटरव्यू पे
नहीं तुम गोटे लेख लिखिले मु तुम स्ट्रक्चर केमती करिवो तमे बुझी गलो तमे इंट्रोडक्शन कहि सारछि ऑलरेडी तापर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन प्रथम कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन प्रोविजन करिवो तापर कोन एक्ट गुडा को एक्ट कोन थिला कोन चेंज हला आ को बेसिस रे व्हाट द पॉलिसी जस्टिफिकेशन तापर कोन डिबेटेबल इश्यूज रही छी आ कोन कोर्ट्स काहे के इंटरिम ऑर्डर देछि तापर तमे अल्टीमेटली यू हैव टू मेक योर समरी tomorrow end kariwo by giving your viewpoints. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want all of you to write that. Bujhta katha? Acha. Now we come to a very important area which is monetary policy. है ना? Monetary policy. I'm a repo rate by I'm monetary policy देखिए. आमर इंडिया रे आमर जो monetary policy, our fiscal policy are like two wheels of a chariot. Please note down. Monetary policy and fiscal policy are like what? Two wheels of a country's chariot. गोटे देश जो जदि गोटे रथ बोली भावुच ताले गोटे चक्का हला कोन मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी आ गोटे हला फिस्कल पॉलिसी ना फिस्कल पॉलिसी रे तीनटा कथा आसला प्लीज नोट डाउन फिस्कल पॉलिसी रे तीनटा कथा आसला टैक्स expenditure and borrowing. Okay, tax, expenditure and borrowing. कौन तुम्हें डायरेक्ट टैक्स करिवा कौन हमें इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स करिवा उठाला रेवेन्यू कलेक्शन एक्सपेंडिचर कौन हला हमें हाउ डू वी स्पेंड इन डिफरेंट एरियाज तापर जदि हमर एक्सपेंडिचर इज मोर देन आवर इनकम how much should we borrow? So today we are not going into the fiscal policy today. In the next class we will handle that. So monetary policy kamo hala. Let us now see that what is the role of monetary policy. Now the RBI was set up under the RBI Act of 1934. Please note down with three major functions as per the RBI Act. First function hala, it regulates the issue of banknotes. Please note down. Regulates what? The issue of banknotes. And please note down. And ensures adequate supply. Please note down. And ensures adequate supply. It is the job of the RBI to ensure that. Not only control, but there is चिम हमरो जो समय हला हमरो कोन कला demonetization हला there was a huge problem for of cash in circulation. Second कथा हला please note down monetary stability. Please note down monetary stability. Monetary stability रे गोटे हला जे stability of inflation. गोटे हला the rate fluctuations should not be very high. The rate fluctuations should not be very high. Similarly, exchange rate fluctuation should not also be very high. That means our exchange rate with foreign currency. डॉलर सगळे आज यदि डॉलर अछि 86 काली यदि हो 90 काली हो 95 ताले your rupee is volatile. Have you understood? So contain volatility. Please note down contain volatility. बुझी पड़छ कि नहीं monetary stability हला contain volatility. कौन कौन volatility हला गोटे हला price volatility and second हला exchange rate volatility. Somebody the answer kurucho if you are not a student of economics normally what will happen is तुम खाता रे देखिवो जानि म जेटा इकोनॉमिक्स प्लान हो कि तुम यदि ए भला आंसर करिवो से जानि म नहीं ता सब इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़िथिवो बाटा Are you getting my point? Your challenge is to answer in a way where the examiner will know that he or she is using the right language of economics. Are you getting my point? ଯଦି ସେଇଟା ତମେ ଓସ୍ତାଦିଗିରି କରି ଲେଖିଦବ ତାହେଲେ ସେ ବଡ ଖୁସି ହବ ଜାଣିପାରିବନି ପିଲାଟା ମାନେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ପିଲା କି ନନ୍ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ପିଲା ମାନେ ଆମେ ଧର ଯୋଉମାନେ ସବୁ ପୁରୁଣା ମୂଷା ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ରେ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଦବୁ ଯିଏ କହୁଥିବ ଏଇଟା ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଲୋକ କି ନୁହଁ ବୋଲି ମାନେ ଆମର ଗୋଟେ ଆସିଥିଲା ପରେ ଗୋଟେ ସାଙ୍ଗଟେ ଆସିଥିଲା ତାକୁ ସେ ଥିଲା ଚିଫ ସେକ୍ରେଟାରୀ ଥିଲା ଏଠି କେରଳରେ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ଜାଣିଥିଲି ଦିଲ୍ଲୀ ଜାଣିଥିଲି ମୁଁ ତାକୁ ଡାକିଥିଲି ଆମର ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ ପଢେଇବା ପାଇଁ ସ୍କୁଲ ସେ ପଢେଇ ଲେଖେ ବି ଖୁବ ଭଲ ଲେଖେ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଥିଲି ଯେ ସେଣ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟିଫେନ୍ସ ରେ ପଢୁଥିଲା କିନ୍ତୁ ସେ କଣ ପଢୁଥିଲା ମୁଁ ଜାଣିନି ସେ ଆଲୋକ ସିଲ୍ ତା ନା ବୁଝିଲ ତ ସେ ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ଲେଖେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ ଇଂଲିଶ କହେ ମୁଁ ବସିଛି ସେ ପଛରେ ବସିଛି ସେ ଗୋଟେ କଥା କହିଲା ସେଠୁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଗଲି ଯେ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଲୋକ ନୁହଁ ବୋଲି ସେ ଲେକ୍ଚର ସରିଲା ପରେ ସେ କହିଲା ବସ୍ ହାଉ ୱାଜ ଇଟ୍ ମୁଁ କହିଲି I don't think you had economics as a subject. ସେ କହିଲା how did you know? Where did I make a mistake? ସେଠୁ ମୁଁ କହିଲି ନାଇଁ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଷ୍ଟେଟମେଣ୍ଟ ଟା ତୁ ମାରିଲୁ ସେଇଠୁ ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଲି ଯେ ତୁ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଟା ପଢିନୁ ପାଠ କହିଲା ନାଇଁ ବସ୍ ମୁଁ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିର ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ କିନ୍ତୁ ମତେ ବହୁତ ଇକୋନୋମିକ୍ସ ଭଲ ଲାଗେ କିନ୍ତୁ I know I respect you ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଦେଖ ଆମେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ସବୁ 6-7 ବର୍ଷ ପାଠ ପଢିଛୁ PhD କରିଛୁ ଡକ୍ଟରେଟ୍ କରିଛୁ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଦକ୍ଷାମି ରହିବ ଡେପ୍ଥ ରହିବ ତମେ ଯେତେ ଯାହା ମୁଣ୍ଡ ପିଟି ଦିଅ ପଛେ ତମେ ହବ ନାହିଁ that is the beauty of a good economist ବୁଝିଲ ତ କିନ୍ତୁ ତମମାନେ ତା ଅର୍ଥ ନୁହଁ ଯେ ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଏମିତି ଆନ୍ସର କରିବ ଯୋଉଟା କି ଲାଗିବ ଯେ ଏଇଟା ସାର୍ ଏକଦମ ଅନାଡି ନୁହଁ ହେଲା ଥର୍ଡ ହେଲା ଅପରେଟ ଦି କ୍ରେଡିଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ କରେନ୍ସି ସିଷ୍ଟମ ପ୍ଲିଜ ନୋଟ ଡାଉନ୍ ଅପରେଟ ଦି କ୍ରେଡିଟ ଆଣ୍ଡ କରେନ୍ସି ସିଷ୍ଟମ so that please note down so that the business runs smoothly. So that the business runs smoothly and cost of credit is reasonable. Please underline that. Please underline that. Cost of credit is reasonable. RBI ର କାମ ହେଲା also to ensure ଯେ business ଟା କେମିତି ଭଲ ଚାଲୁ how will that ensure by keeping the cost of credit low କଣ କଣ ତାହେଲେ ହେଲା adequate supply of notes second ହେଲା monetary stability by containing volatility of inflation and exchange rate fluctuation and keeping the cost of credit reasonable. Low, reasonable. Cost of credit reasonable, not low. बहुत low kale तोरा difficulty होगा. Can somebody tell me why it will be bad? The cost of credit बहुत low होगा ताहले तुम्हारा deposit rate would be very low. Please note down. ଯଦି cost of credit ହେଲା 2% ତମେ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ରୁ 2% ରେ ଲୋନ ପାଉଛ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଯୋଉ ପଇସା ତମକୁ ଦଉଛି କୋଉଠି ଦଉଛି out of deposits which is made by you ତମଠୁ ସେ ଡିପୋଜିଟ ଟା 1% ରେ ନେଲେ ହିଁ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଇପାରିବ ଲୋନ 2% ରେ Are you following me? Please note down. This is the biggest issue in cost of credit. If the cost of credit is very low, then it discourages saving. Have you understood this or not? Bhalo kiti bujhiyo chesta karo. If the cost of credit is very low, then the deposit rate would also be very low, which will affect saving. Are saving nole investment kimti hobo? So please note down, every country, therefore, please note down, this is very important. Every country decides what would be a reasonable cost of credit. what is a reasonable repo rate. In US, it is 4%. In India, we are also looking at 5% as a reasonable rate. Seithi jo governor jo 5.5 korichi, everybody is happy that it is almost close to a reasonable cost of credit. Have you understood? Have you understood or not? Jodi 5.5 no karike 3% karibo, tomorrow saving account re tame 1% paibo, 2% paibo. So people will, why will they invest in bank? They will go to the stock market. Share market re paisa kharch karibe, suna kinime, jami kinime. Savings will be diverted to other risky ventures, other risky investments. They are risky investments. Tapare, please note down, the job of the RBI is also to manage public debt. The borrowing jo kahithili tumko fiscal policy kahithili mane purchi the borrowing kahithili se borrowing ta manage kurchi finance ministry karuni. Please remember, it is done by the RBI. Now please note down, almost every country the debt management is done by an independent debt management authority. Please note down. Every country, the debt management is done by independent debt management authority. Buchcho pila ne? A recommendation ta Sri Krishna Commission gave in 2015. Sri Krishna Commission in 2015 gave this suggestion. जे हमें रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया को डेट मैनेजमेंट हमें रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी न दे, हमें कोटे इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी को दबा, that will decide what should be the size of the debt. कितने borrowing करीबा, कौन करीबा, that should be determined by the independent debt management. Now, today it is managed by the Reserve Bank and the Finance Ministry. Finance Ministry से करीबो कि तो data raise करीबो कि RBI. अरे बुझी पड़तो? ताप लेखा lender of the last resort. Lender of the last resort माने आउ केही नथिले RBI पाखरे हाथ पता. जेमते युद्ध आला आर्मी को, it is the lender of the last resort in terms of security. Our external security किए हमको रखियो? आर्मी. मनमोहन ए जो मोदी द्वारा हे परिबो ना, मोदी द्वारा कोन हम सिक्युरिटी आसीबो से जो अछि से एयरफोर्स लोक से चलेबो ना, S-400 को चलेबो से बसिगिरी एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम को चलेबो नहीं की. सो तापर ना ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन. प्लीज नोट डाउन, ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन, दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपोर्टेंट. ओपन मार्केट ऑपरेशन हला बाइंग एंड सेलिंग ऑफ government securities. Buying and selling of government security. जितने बड़े money circulation बढ़े को चाहिए, government will sell securities. जितने बड़े money supply कमे को चाहिए, it will buy government securities. Please note down. जितने बड़े inflation होची, जितने बड़े it will buy government securities. जितने बड़े देखुची जे रिसेशन होची देशरे भलो चलनी सेते बेले से माने दे विल सेल सिक्युरिटीज. बुझियला नै? बुझ परले ना? तापरे आमे आसीबा रेपो रेट. रेपो रेट हला शॉर्ट टर्म रेट. शॉर्ट टर्म रेट सो गोटा हला रेपो रेट आ गोटा हला रिवर्स रेपो रेट. सो व्हाट इज अ रेपो रेट? Repo rate is the short term repo rate at which the RBI gives short term loans to the banks. It is and it is done every 2 months. every 2 months. Basically, repo rate is for the working capital. Please note down. Repo rate is for the working capital. So the company achi tar jo working capital, tomorrow salary daba, tomorrow stores kinima, kichi jo eguda ka sabu tomo working capital seith pe tamu repo rate darkar. Reverse repo rate hela is the rate at which RBI will buy deposits by the banks. Jodi bank pakhre bahut paisa achi, tahle they can sell those, they can offload their excess money at a reverse repo rate. So reverse repo rate ta sabubale repo rate to call. Is it clear? Repo rate ta bujhla, repo rate la borrowing rate, au reverse repo rate la so please note down that repo rate till 2015 was being decided by the RBI governor with the help of a technical committee. Please note down. With the help of what? A technical committee, internal technical committee. ताको RBI रे किछि लोको थिले, technical लोको, तांको से assist करथिले, but the decision was being taken by whom? By the RBI governor. So there is a committee was formed under Urjit Patel. Urjit Patel, jatra deputy governor thile, so Raghuram Rajan appointed a committee where he asked him to examine whether the repo rate should be determined by the governor or by a monetary policy committee as recommended by Sri Krishna Commission. Please note down. Sri Krishna Commission had actually recommended for a monetary policy committee. तो मैंने भूल के केवल लिखी बनी जे एटा उर्जित पटेल ही करतिला. उर्जित पटेल से कथाटा को मानिला. Are you all getting me? उर्जित पटेल हाँ कौन कहला स्टेटमेंट हला जे जो हमारा जो Justice Sri Krishna Committee had recommended that the repo rate should not be determined by one person, but by a committee where there are outside experts. This was accepted by the Urjit Patel Committee. So it was accepted. Just one second. I'll call you up, sir. I'm in a class, sir. I'll call you up, sir. My apologies, sir. बूढ़ा लोक गुड़ाक 81 बयस है विवेक पट्टनायक को 66 बैचर से आए ना स्त्री शुणुंट ना बो शुणुची किए आजिकल बुढ़ा कथा किए शुणुची से पाइला मते पाइबो घंटाटे मो मुंडटा खाइबो से बुढ़ा मते घंटाए एबे मुंड खाइबो से दुनिया कथा ए जो मरि गले सब एरेडे मरि गले से कथा से तक डिस्कशन हबो तंकर गोटे को करिवे माने आजिकल बुढ़ा लोकंकर मेन कथा हला कथा पे के नाहंती घरे ना स्त्री शुणुची ना पुओ शुणुची ना बोहू शुणुची केही शुणु नाहंती से कोनटा करिवो सब से टीवी देखिवो हम करिवो आ कोन करिवो तेणु मु से दुष्टु तमन को आसी तम मुंडटी खाए ताल कि शुणुच कथा उडा का बुझलो त के शुणुच कथा वो पो कहबो तमे चीफ ज्ञान ऑफिसर तमे गलो एठू बहुत ज्ञान दउछ तमे बुझलो त से ज्ञान सुने पे चाहिए anyway so the Urjit Patel Committee, please note down, made 2 recommendations. One was to have a monetary policy committee where 3 would be outside members. He also said those 3 outside members should be drawn from 3 different backgrounds. Please note down. One would be an economist, one would be a financial expert, and the third would be a statistician. केबे जदि तमरो इंटरव्यू आसीबो ताहले एउडा सब काम रे आसीबो गोटे हबो इकोनॉमिस्ट गोटे हला मैनेजमेंट फाइनेंशियल एक्सपर्ट आ गोटे हला स्टैटिस्टिशियन सो सेहिति पई दिल्ली स्कूल ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स IM ISR सब बेले मेंबर सीट बुझी पड़छ तो सेठु ले तापरे he also suggested a glide path. Please note down, he suggested a glide path. Glide path रे कहरा जे हमर जो inflation targeting जो होची सेटा we should keep between 4% plus minus 2%. Please note down, this is called the glide path. ए path रे तमे झुलिबो 4 रु 6 4 रु 6 यदि अधिका हैला ताहले तुमको गाड़ी हो सरकार प्लीज नोट डाउन an MOU was signed with the Ministry of Finance in February 2015 this is the inflation band. Inflation manage करिवार कामटा हला RBI तेणु तमे तुम रेपो रेट रख अच्छा तुमको मन अच्छे मुझे कहली रेपो रेट टा वर्किंग कैपिटल पे लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल पे बैंक रेट प्लीज नोट डाउन so the RBI has two rates have you understood better गोटे हला शॉर्ट टर्म लोन पे रेपो रेट लॉन्ग टर्म माने 1 year more than 1 year that is called the bank rate. So many times somebody would say is repo rate bank rate? No sir, bank rate is a rate beyond 1 year. That is for long-term requirements. Buchuto, and today the bank rate is around 7.9%, 7.8, 7.9%. While the repo rate is 5.5, the bank rate is around 7.5 plus. That's the long-term rate. Have you understood? So many times, good अनेक अच्छे विद्वान अच्छे कहे रेपो रेट कौन से बैंक रेट टा तो नहीं रेपो रेट टा बैंक रेट नुह Is that clear to all of you? So 8 है monetary policy. Now please note down when we are talking of the repo rate, please note down it has a relationship with what? Inflation. It also has a relationship with GDP, and it has also a relationship with the real repo rate. Please note down, real repo rate hala repo rate minus inflation. Repo rate, real repo rate कौन? Repo rate minus CPI. तामने तमे जहा रेट रखिचो जदि इन्फ्लेशन ताटो अधिका हबो is it good for the business or bad for the business? भाबिगिर को अटिके आंसर टे को again I'll repeat, if the repo rate is less than inflation, is it good for a business community or bad for the business community? It is good for them. Be good for them because so in actually तांकर जो पैसा जो फेरेबे सेटा कम फेरेबे कारण इन्फ्लेशन होची. Okay, so now let us see how it is behaving. So in just to give an example, in 2013 repo rate थिला केते 7.8, inflation केते थिला 10. So real GDP थिला केते 5.5. जितना रघुराम राजन आसिले हला, so he brought it down to around 6.4% and inflation was 3.9, real repo was 2.5 and real GDP was 6.1. Just see here. So when the repo rate is low and inflation is less, the GDP increases. So therefore, the underlying principle of a repo rate is bring down the repo rate. If you want to improve your GDP, then bring down the repo rate. You increase the repo rate when GDP, the inflation is very high. देखो, there are two relationship to देखो. Repo rate रो relationship है ना inflation संगे. रेपो रेट रिलेशनशिप है ना जीडीपी रे जदि इन्फ्लेशन बेसी अच्छी ताहले द रेपो रेट शुड बी हाई if the GDP is low then the repo rate should be so eight hochi relationship. So now let us see how it is behaving. I mean just see here repo rate तुम देखो repo rate और तुम्हारे inflation देखो और GDP growth देखो. So you can see very clearly that there is a close relationship between these three things. Okay, between repo rate, inflation, and the GDP growth. Sorry. Repo rate, inflation, and GDP. देखो इधर नोट करो. Between 2013 to 2015, you see here 2022 रे, okay, 2022 रे हमरो inflation थिला केते 6.7 थिला. How much was the repo rate at that time? Repo rate was 7.2 and GDP was how much? Now the criticism, please note down, the criticism against Mr. Das when he was RBI governor was that when the GDP was low, he did not reduce the repo rate because he was all the time afraid that there would be inflation. Are you getting my point? Just see this table, then you'll understand. Look. What was the GDP GDP in 22 and what was the repo rate? So 23 रे कितने repo rate रखले? 23, 24 both the years. What was the repo rate he had kept? 6.4 and 6.5. And what was the inflation? 5.6 and 5. जेतेबेले inflation टा कमुची, should he have reduced the repo rate or not? तबे ए दिटा नोट कर दो मैंने सु 2000 देखो दिटा ईयर लिखो 2023 ईयर लिखो रेपो लिखो सीपीआई लिखो और रियल जीडीपी लिखो. रियल रेपो लिखा दरकार नहीं. रेपो लिखो सीपीआई लिखो आओ जीडीपी देखो. बुझी पड़छो कौन पैरामीटर नेली? रेपो नेली, इन्फ्लेशन नेली और जीडीपी नेली. आमर प्रिंसिपल टा कोन हला जे जदी हमें माने आमर दुटा ऑब्जेक्टिव रहला. गोटे हला इन्फ्लेशन टा कंट्रोल करिबा किंतु ता संगे संगे आमे जीडीपी टा बढ़ेबा. प्लीज नोट डाउन. आमे इन्फ्लेशन टा को कंट्रोल करिबा. At the same time we should try to increase GDP. आमे जीडीपी यदि बढ़िया को चाहिमा ताल कोन करे पड़ियो ताल रेपो रेट टा कमे पड़ियो. किंतु what he did, just see here what he did, he kept the repo rate 6.5 when he found that the real GDP, okay, the real GDP had fallen down from 9.2 to 6.5. Just see here. Say 6.5 rakhile when he found that the GDP has come down to how much? 6.5. Because he was afraid that if he reduces the repo rate, inflation would be high. Have you understood? He did not reduce the repo rate because he thought that inflation would be high. But what has happened actually? Inflation actually has come down from 5.6 to 5. अरे बुझु कि नहीं so 5.6 ru 5 जतरे हला inflation टा कमुची he apprehended that the inflation will go up. So in the process, he did not create a situation where the growth could be encouraged. Have you understood this? Now, what this governor has done, please see here. Say 6.5 ko 5.5 kala, kahenki? Because he finds that inflation is coming down from 5 to 4.5. And by that process, the GDP is not coming down. It may go up, but it is likely to be 6.5 to 7. Have you understood or not? When you try to analyze the action of a governor, in hindsight, this is what you find. किंतु से तांकर objective रहिला जे more objective as per the RBI Act is to contain inflation. Now please remember, pure from the mandate of the RBI Act, he was right. He was of the view that growth is the responsibility of the finance ministry. Please note down. Are you all getting me? He believed that growth is a function of fiscal policy. It is, growth ta, good desare growth ta is, he was of the view that growth would be driven by a fiscal policy, by the taxation policy. If we tax ta kam kariba, then growth hobo. He believed that we cannot achieve growth by reducing the repo rate, because repo rate is a very small component. Growth rate, contribution of a tax would be far better. If you are reducing taxation on GST, on direct tax, the impact on growth would be far more than what would be the impact on repo rate. So therefore, have you understood now? So he believed that the fiscal policy will drive growth and not monetary policy. And my job is to ensure that I keep inflation under the glide path. Come whatever may, I will not allow inflation to go out of hand. Okay. So therefore, the last letter here. So there is something called, please note down, this is called the Taylor rule. John Taylor, in 1992, he evolved a rule called the Taylor rule. Now, as per this rule, IT hochi, what would be the repo rate? Repo rate is equal to RT hat bane ideal repo rate. Please note down. I is equal to ideal repo rate. कहती चारि कहती इंडिया तो आम कह 5 मैंने आज कौन रेट आम करवा जे आम कौन आइडियल रेट कह चाहूँ आइडियल कॉस्ट ऑफ क्रेडिट कौन हम प्लस 0.5 into the difference between, please note down, the difference between inflation that you want and the inflation that you are having. That means it is the rate of inflation, tomar jo desired inflation, ao tomar kete actual inflation. Though तुम चाहूँचो 4 ही चाहूँचो, tomar दरो अच्छी actual अच्छी 5.5, 5.5. Have you understood? बुझी पहुँचो ना नहीं? तापरे plus plus, please note down, plus 0.5 into the GDP growth minus potential growth. ये लिखी दे रहे हो तो बुझ IT आउटर लेखा ठीक है सब लेखा ठीक है IT is equal to IT माने तबरे कौन इंटरेस्ट रेट हबो is equal to ideal repo rate plus 0.5 into the difference between desired inflation and actual inflation. Please write down 0.5 into desired inflation and actual inflation plus 0.5 into actual output minus desired output. ता माने से कहले instead of only looking at inflation, please note down, instead of just looking at inflation, you should also look at the output of a country or the GDP growth of a country. For the first time, so this is adopted by the US. Please note down, this is adopted by the US. What does US does? US looks at inflation and also growth. It for the first time he is applying the Taylor rule. There, for instance, in India, the IT the Taylor rule IT is equal to 4 plus 0.5, 4.5 hochi inflation minus we want how much 4 plus 0.5 into 6.5 minus potential output hochi 8. तो माने आमे जिते बड़े रेपो रेट करिवा सेते देखिबा आमे कोन अचीव करि फेरिबा आउटपुट माइनस व्हाट वी आर अचीविंग बुझी पड़ो कथा. Have you all understood or not? Not difficult later. It difficult like माने when we are fixing a rate, so we have to think, look at three things. गोटे हला what should be an ideal rate. आ गोटे देखिबा कोन हमर इन्फ्लेशन होची आ कोन इन्फ्लेशन हबा कथा. तापरे कोन देखिबा जे आमे केते आउटपुट हमर होची आ केते आउटपुट हेई परिबो. So therefore, this particular rule is trying to tell us that, please write end with this line, the monetary policy should not only look at the inflationary potential, but the growth potential of a country. It should not it should not only look at the inflationary gap, but also at the output gap or a GDP gap of a country. That means the monetary policy should not be one-eyed. It should not look at only inflation containment. It should also look at how to boost growth. So therefore, this particular policy, which Sanjay Malhotra has done or the MPC has done, deserves to be complimented. This is a very, very wonderful decision that the RBI has taken, where it is looking at both inflation, containment, and also how to boost our GDP, because our potential is much more than what we are achieving. Hello?
So,
Cool.
the repo rate has impact on employment or not?
Repo rate? को कहलो?
The repo rate unemployment की employment ऊपर किछि impact पकोउची की?
Growth ऊपर डिपेंड करछि. भलो क्वेश्चन पचारला. आमे जदि हमर जदि जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट बेटर हबो, हमर जीडीपी ग्रोथ रेट यदि बेटर हबो, किमिति बेटर हबो? इन्वेस्टमेंट हबो. तो टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन, if cost of credit is low, will investment be more? Investment बेसी हबो कि नहीं? अरे
Yes, sir.
इन्वेस्टमेंट
Yes,
यदि
sir.
इन्वेस्टमेंट बेसिस पे एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ियो कि नहीं
Yes, sir. Yes,
एम्प्लॉयमेंट
sir.
बढ़िले ग्रोथ हो कि नहीं तुमको कौन कहबा माने बुझी पड़तो तो कथा माने आमे जो जो बुझी पालो तो हमर जो अप्रोच ता रहउची जे मोर काम होची इन्फ्लेशन कंट्रोल करिवा हम कहबा जे तू दी इन्फ्लेशन कंट्रोल करे ताले ग्रोथ रे की देखियो सेटा कोन खाली फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर काम सो दैट इज हाउ आई स्टार्टेड